Straight on to our spotlight for tonight. Sunil Bharti Mittal will take a pay cut to fund his new initiative, Nyaya Bharti. The organization will provide legal assistance to underprivileged under-trials. Along with Mittal, Bharti Airtel will also contribute 10 crore rupees annually towards the cause as part of its CSR spend. Shereen Bhan says Bharti Group's CSR efforts have so far focused on education, and the decision to expand into legal services is personal. One for the chairman of India's largest telecom company.
Bharti Enterprises and its founder Sunil Bharti Mittal have decided to put their money and weight behind providing legal and financial assistance to under-trials who cannot afford legal help. The poster boy of India's mobile phone revolution revealed that the decision to put the group's CSR funds and his own money behind Nyaya Bharti is a personal one. Mittal was summoned by the Patiala House Court in 2013 in a case related to the allocation of spectrum in 2002, and that was the trigger for this intervention. The lower court order was set aside by the Supreme Court in 2015, but in Mittal's words, it inspired him to act.
I have therefore in the last year and a half built the program which is now culminated today in the announcement of Nyaya Bharti to provide support to thousands of those people who are deserving cases, first-time offenders for minor offences, to provide them legal aid, support, advice, and in some cases where deserving, the bail sureties or bail amounts.
Nyaya Bharti is hoping to help under-trials by paying bail and surety amounts starting the 1st of April 2016. Sunil Mittal has roped in former Chief Justice of India, Justice Anand, to head the board, which includes leading lawyers like Harish Salve. AZB and partners and EY will provide pro bono legal services. To start with, Nyaya Bharti will focus on Delhi and the National Capital Region and Punjab. This is the latest CSR effort from the group, which has so far been involved in education.
Bharti Airtel will take the funding for this particular initiative, which is being currently set at 10 crores a year on an ongoing basis. And I've decided to take a cut of my salary of 5 crores to match the contribution being done by Airtel.
While Mittal tried to steer clear of business-related issues, a question on the group's succession plan did elicit an answer.
In our case, succession in terms of family coming into the business takes a much lower priority, given that highly professional teams and professional environment operates in Bharti. Children will find their own destiny. They are all currently pursuing their own careers and businesses. My daughter lives in London. One of my sons working in London. Rakesh's son is working in the food business. So they are finding their own careers and destiny, and let's see how far and where they want to go.
While a succession plan is not high on the agenda, neither is the erstwhile dream of getting into politics. Mittal said he gave up on his political ambitions at 45. In New Delhi, this is Shereen Bhan.
Well, for more on that story, I'm now joined by Gopal Jain, Senior Advocate at the Supreme Court and a board member at Nyaya Bharti. Thank you so very much, Mr. Jain, for joining us here on The Big Picture. Well, if you were to look at the statistics and the numbers of under trial, that's quite staggering, sir. I mean, 2.8 lakh people are under trial in about 1,400 jails, and that accounts for nearly 70% of the total number of imprisoned people. In fact, last year, sir, you'd know better than me, Supreme Court had issued directions to state authorities to facilitate the release of under trials if they had spent more than half of the tenure of the probable jail term. But despite that, the level of awareness and the releases have been very tepid. What do you attribute this to?
Well, look, there are a variety of factors. A, as you said, the sheer number of cases compared to judges and infrastructure. But luckily, the jurisprudence in India is, bail versus jail. And courts have encouraged the fact that people should be released on a personal bond or surety if they're given bail and they're not able to, post the bail amount or the bail bond to that extent. But I think this initiative will go a very long way. As I said, it's founded in justice and that notion that people who have been granted bail by the court but unfortunately are not able to, come out for financial or other reasons will get both legal support and financial support. So in that sense, it's a cause which supports justice.
Right. In fact, sir, there is a study that was done in the United States some years ago by two very well-known sociologists, one from the Harvard University, the other from the University of Washington, where they basically brought out the correlation between poverty and imprisonment and incarceration that takes place. In fact, they basically brought out this vicious loop, this vicious circle. Okay, I mean, the more poor you are, the more prone you are to go to jail. And once you go to jail, it's not just you, but your entire family suffers because of that. This sort of correlation, is it well understood in India?
Oh yes, I mean it's well understood, and I mean like you said, the research could well apply to a situation in India. I myself have had an occasion to visit Tihar jail and some other jails in other countries as well, because one of my subjects was in criminology. So I think this is a very telling reflection on the state of affairs, and this initiative which has been taken hopefully will be one step in the direction of providing some kind of redress to poor people who are in jail, have got bail, but have not been able to come out and enjoy the liberty which the courts have granted them.
Right. So tell us a little bit about some of the initiatives that now you will be taking, that this board will be taking up. On what basis will you be selecting, the people who are under trial? On what basis will you be selecting them to sort of represent them? Just tell us a little bit about this in terms of the thinking and the basic parameters that you will be taking into account.
Well, there are two things. Firstly, the board is headed by, Justice A.S. Anand, the former Chief Justice of India. So, he having headed the judiciary of this country, he would bring entire experience that he's got in how to deal with this situation, in preparing some guidelines and eligibility criteria on the basis of which these applications will be entertained and evaluated, because the idea is that genuine applications should be considered and support should be given. And obviously, as we go along, we may even have independent people to assess and evaluate these applications against the guidelines or parameters which are laid down. It would be a transparent and objective exercise, and the real purpose, as you said, is the poor person who really needs this assistance should get it.
So what does it say about the legal system in general, not just in India, but in many parts of the world? Of course, US is a prime example where, justice at the end of the day is still dependent on one's ability to pay for it. Because in US, of course, a majority of the prisoners happen to be from the black community. In India also, the press release also highlights, and something that we know, we very well know, that it's again people from the lower castes, people from the minority sections who sort of populate these jails. What does it say about the justice system, and is it too idealistic to assume that one day we will be in a position to actually ensure that justice is done and is seen to be done?
Well, I think the judiciary, National Legal Services Authority, legal aid cells, a lot of good NGOs and organizations, lawyers who are doing pro bono work, all of them now are conscious of this problem and have been working on resolving these issues, or at least making effective attempts. So I think instead of looking at the end result, which you said, idea is what are the steps which have been taken, how effective have they been, is there scope to do more, who can do more. So I think initiatives like this have come at the right time, because they draw focus and attention to this important issue. And hopefully, when you have, as I said, Justice Anand and other eminent people like Mr. Salve, their entire experience of over the years will, benefit and guide these initiatives, and, maybe others will also follow this. So let's look at it as a first step in the right direction.
Right, but but I just want to delve into that a little more, actually, Mr. Jain, because one part of it is, of course, that these people do not have the money and to sort of rope in anyone. I mean, let alone well-known and learned lawyers like yourself. But also, the issue also lies with the with the trial process taking so long. So, despite your initiative, I mean, clearly, a lot will depend on the speed in which these trials are taken up.
That's been the center of debate for many years. The Supreme Court has said, speedy trial is really part of Article 21 and the facet of life. But as I said to you, the sheer numbers that we have and the system is overburdened. For instance, let me give you one or two examples. The number of check bouncing cases. Now today, with digitization which has come, if they say, look, as far as checks are concerned, payment will be done electronically, signatures will then get verified. you will, or a little amendment is made to the Negotiable Instruments Act, you will remove a number of these cases which clog the system. Likewise, you have lok adalats and alternate forms of dispute redressal. So if smaller or petty cases can be pushed out of the traditional legal system, it will free up a lot of time, and judicial time will be available for, as you said, cases where trials are pending for a long time, apart from the fact that we need to increase the judge strength and infrastructure, as well as ensure that technology and all those techniques, modern techniques of dispute redressal, are available to the subordinate judiciary. So there would be multiple factors which are required, and all stakeholders have a role to play in this. Implementation of the reports of the Law Commission is also an important step. This government has said that they will streamline and remove outdated laws. So all of that collectively should reduce the burden on the court system.
Right. One final question from my side, Mr. Jain. I mean, just to sort of move beyond this and look at the initiative, in general. I mean, are we seeing a new phase of CSR initiatives now? Because this is a very interesting sort of a step that Bharti has taken. Do you feel that many other corporates will also now be thinking out of the box, rather than, usually sort of investing in the more well-known CSR activities? Companies will now looking at, sort of channeling their money for more innovative and for, like just causes like these?
Yeah, I think so, absolutely, because there's a human element and a human touch to the whole thing. It's a very sensitive aspect, and as I said, good ideas are always copied and replicated. So I think CSR started, as you said, with a particular notion and perception, but amount of innovation, improvisation, and channelizing it in the right areas, particularly where it can bring justice, or effective intervention can mean somebody who should be out of jail still remains, can come back and enjoy his liberty and freedom, hopefully will inspire others also to take such initiatives in this direction.
Thank you so much, Mr. Jain, for joining us on The Big Picture, and wish you all the luck with this very interesting initiative. We'll be keeping a very close eye on this. Thank you so much.